Hi everyone, my name is Jackie and I work on design at Codédex, and I'm here to walk you through Figma, the design tool that we will be using for the UI UX course. In the previous exercise, you should have made a free account with Figma, and once you log in, it's going to look something like this. So this is like the home page of Figma. You can see it's kind of like a file browser. You have some default files right here and a left-hand panel to explore drafts, projects, trash, etc. Feel free to play around and click around on the homepage, and when you're ready to start making a design, you can press the design button up at top. So when you create a new file in Figma, it's going to look something like this. Here is the Figma Design Editor. It's going to create an untitled file for you in your drafts folder, and when you have a free account, you can make as many drafts as you want. So I'm going to start first by naming this what I want to design. So today we're going to design a trading card for a 30 Nights of Code pet. And so I'm going to call this trading card to start. And you can see the file is renamed and the URL reflects this too. So looking around the Figma editor, you can see that the editor is broken up into several different parts. There's a left-hand panel, a right-hand panel, and then a bottom bar with the tools that you would use for design. We're going to start by using one of the tools, the frame tool, which is the second button with this sort of hashtag icon. I'm going to click it and then start dragging on my workspace area, which is the center area of the screen. And I'm just going to drag to create this rectangle, which is called a frame. So frames are super important in UI UX design on Figma. This is basically like creating any sort of screen that you want, any surface. It's kind of like a blank canvas that you can put anything you want into. And you can see that once I created the frame, it adds it into the layers panel to the left. And the layers panel is going to be a list of items that you created in your design. It's also going to be nested. So if you want to create stuff and put it in your frame, you can sort of see it as an item within the frame itself in the layers panel. And you can also see that on the right hand side, you have properties for whatever you created. So I kind of dragged this randomly. So it says a width of 322 and 290, but I could replace these values to create any sort of dimensions that I want. So let's say for my canvas, I wanted to make it 600 by 800 pixels. So I can change these values there and then it will reflect here. And that's pretty big looking here, but I can zoom out by pinching. I have a MacBook, pinching my trackpad, but you can use whatever way that you zoom in and zoom out on your computer. So this is a great blank canvas for me to work on, and I'll remind you all that I wanted to make a trading card. So I'm going to treat this as the sort of background for my trading card, but actually I would need another frame to create the base of the trading card itself. So I could click on this icon again for frame, and you can see there's also a keyboard shortcut that I could use, F. I'm going to press F on my keyboard, and it's going to highlight that button automatically, and then create another rectangle inside of the frame that I just created. And you can see how the layers panel reflects that too. Frame 2 is within frame 1, and you can kind of toggle it, expand it, and de-expand it as well. And right now they're both white, so it's hard to see them. But what I like to do is just click the plus button on the fill section here to create a fill color. This fill color is white, so that doesn't really help too much, but I will adjust this color picker and make it gray now. So here you can see I have now frame 2 is within frame 1. And just to make this a little more clear, I'm going to rename these as well. You don't have to rename your layers, but when you're sharing your designs with others or just for your own personal bookkeeping, it can be helpful to just know what is supposed to be what. So I'm going to call this my card base, and I'm going to call this the background. And I'm going to pick a good size for my trading card. I don't want it to be too skinny or too short in proportion. Maybe this like 450 by 600 is a good ratio. I don't want my card to be gray in the end. I kind of want to make it yellow. And just to give you an idea of what we're going to do eventually, I'm going to paste in an image of the 30 Nights of Code Pet that I want to create a trading card for. So this is our baby duck character. This is just a GIF that I have on my computer, and I pasted it into the Figma editor directly. So this I will use eventually in the card itself, but I will keep the character here for reference. And this is why I'm creating a yellow card, just to match the duck. And I can even select the color using the color picker of the duck here and maybe adjust it to be a little bit lighter. Any shape that you make on Figma has a fill and a stroke. Right now, this doesn't have a stroke. A stroke would create an outline of the shape. I'll press the plus button here to create a very basic outline. And I want to make a kind of thicker border for my trading card. I can change the width of the outline here. I can change whether it sits on the outside of the rectangle, the center of the rectangle, or the inside of the rectangle. I'm going to press outside just to make the card a little bit bigger. And I feel like it's nicer when cards have a little bit more roundness to the edges. So I can also affect the corner radius of the card under appearance. So I'm just going to up the numbers until it looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make the color of the stroke or outline a little bit lighter than the yellow that was originally the base of the card. So yeah, all that to say, I made a really great looking base of the card, and now it's time to fill it in.